Okay, so remember when we looked at the zones in our sampler, we had an area where we could decide what sample gets triggered depending on what key we played, or the velocity of the key, or even the little kind of salmon colored marker thing, right? Um, so we had some control over deciding what sample gets played where. What we have in racks is the same kind of mechanism that'll tell us when to play which instrument. This is really cool. Okay, so let's start with key. So I'm in the chain area here. I'm going to press key. Now what I see here is, this should look familiar. It's the same basic idea as the sampler. But I can say when to play which chain. So I'm going to say when I play a low note up to C2, let's say, I want you to play only the first synth. Okay, this is going to tell it to only play that first synth when we're in this area. When I'm in the second, when I'm in, I don't know, this octave, only play that one. The second one, when I'm in this octave, only play the third one. And everything above C4, play just the top one. Now if you look at these little volumes here, you'll see, okay, now I'm just playing the first one. Now I'm just playing the second one, third one, and fourth one, right? So I can control which synth plays. Now I can get a little fancier with this, because you don't need to have just one. I could do this. So now what's happening? In this range of notes, both these two synths are going to play. And in this range, both these two are going to play. And in this range, both of these two are going to play. That's cool, overlapped synths. But it goes one step cooler, because I have this little tiny bar on the top. If I put my mouse over that little tiny bar, I can crossfade between synths. Oops. Gotta get right on that sucker to get it. It's a little hard to grab. Okay, now I'm making really elaborate sounding patches here, right? Because in this area, I've got these synths kind of cross-fading together. So let's try this again. So here's a low note. Okay, here's a little higher. Now we're in the crossfade area. Now we're mostly on the second one. Now we're only on the second one. Let's jump up. Now we've got a little bit of the third one. Going into the fourth one. We're going into the third one. So really cool stuff you can do with this. Okay, now that's just the key control. We can do the same with velocity. We can say when I play a quiet note, trigger that sample. When I play that instrument, when I play a loud note, play that instrument. When I play a really loud note, play that instrument, and always play the fourth instrument. I don't know, just for fun. So now you've got controls based on the volume of the note that you play, which is really fun. Okay, and we can go to the chain selector. This one is really useful if you're setting up a chain for like a live show. Let me show you how you might do that. Let's say these are 4 different synths that you're going to need on 4 different tracks, and what you've got is a keyboard on stage, and you've got that connected to a laptop, and you want to have you don't want to be switching sessions and switching tracks during your show. You just want to be able to take a dial and switch the synth patch that you're using, right? Here's how you can do that really easily. Set up all the patches you need into one big instrument rack, okay? So these are all the sounds you need in that keyboard for the entire show, okay? Then we're going to use this chain selector, okay? And let's just leave it all the way down here. Okay, I'm going to, well, actually, let's keep this simple. So let's open that to there, open that to there, open that to there, and open that to there. Okay, now let's move this one here, this one here, and this one here. Okay, let's not let them overlap. They can, but just for what I'm going to show you here, I don't want them to overlap. Okay, now wherever this little knob is going to be which synth I hear, right? So how do I control this knob? Well, easily. That gets us to a thing called macros. Now I can just do MIDI mapping, which I would do with Command M or this little MIDI button up here. I just click it and then click this blue area and then wiggle something, any MIDI thing that you've got, and now it's going to be controlled by that MIDI thing. Okay, so you could say, so you've got an extra little MIDI switch or MIDI dial on your keyboard, map that to the chain selector, and then you just know that when it's all the way down, I'm on this synth, when it's all the way up, I'm on this synth, then somewhere in between, I've got these other synths. You might want to mark it on your keyboard where each synth is. So that's a good way to do it. But another way is to take advantage of the macros that are built into the rack. So let's go to a new video and talk about macros.